Hey everybody, welcome to a new week of LonsTV, the week before Christmas of LonsTV. Everything's kind of settling in for the holiday. My girlfriend Danielle is actually going to leave tonight for her grandparents' home in Westby, Wisconsin. So it's like bachelor crazy week around here for me and the dog. I'm going to just like sit on the couch in my underwear and eat a big block of cheese, I guess, is like George Costanza's bachelor fantasy I'm going to live out over the next week. So, you know, it's kind of nice, even though I'm not a Christmas guy, I'm a Jew, we don't celebrate the holiday. I like this time of year just because everybody gets real mellow. It's like everybody else finds their inner lawn where they like stop running around like crazy and just like to relax and hang out and eat cookies, which is basically where I'm at 365. So it's nice that the rest of the world kind of is on my wavelength for just a little while. I did want to call out, I usually don't like to like cross-promote the shows because it feels lame, but I'm going to right now because we just posted the This Week in Movies year-end wrap-up. It's a 90-minute exhaustive look back at 2010 in film. I gave out awards, picked the best movies of the year, the worst movies of the year. I used to do it on just my blog when I had Crushed by Inertia, my blog going, but now I have this whole show, so we really made a whole big production out of it. If you go to thisweekend.com/movies, you can see the blog post where I put all the videos and link to all the movies so you can find everything we talk about, or you can just go to iTunes and watch the show if you just want to see. Matt Raub from This Weekend co-hosted with me because Farrah Roth, my usual co-host, is not in town for the holidays. Yeah, it was interesting. We clashed about a couple of things, especially Kick-Ass. He loved Kick-Ass, and it made my worst movies of the year list. I'm not going to get into a whole Kick-Ass review here. You can watch the show, and we talk about my problems with the movie there, but the whole thing just felt awkward to me, like a bunch of different ideas and pieces that didn't really fit to make a movie, especially because the main character is just one of the worst protagonists from any recent film I can remember. He's not funny, he's not interesting, you never side with him, like, there's nothing relatable. Like, I know he's supposed to be an everyman, but he's just not relatable at all. I didn't feel like his journey was at all relevant to me, and he's just very flat and didn't really carry me through the movie. I actually never liked a Matthew Vaughn movie. He makes the kinds of movies I like. Like, he did Layer Cake, which was this, like, British gangster thing, and he actually had produced Guy Ritchie's movies. So he had produced, like, Lock, Stock, and Snatch, and I like those movies. And then he sort of tried to do his own with Layer Cake, and it was, again, it's just, like, self-conscious, and he's trying too hard to, like, be cool. And then he did Stardust, which is based on a Neil Gaiman book, and which is, like, big comedy fantasy. Another genre I love, and it was just dreadful, almost unwatchably bad. And then this one, too, is, like, superhero movies, which I love, and comedies or parodies, which I love. And it's a total dud, and it was not entertaining to me at all. So I think I just have a problem with Matthew Vaughn, which does not bode well for the next X-Men movie, which is disappointing because he's directing it. But none of that is what I wanted to review. If you want to see more of me bagging on Kick-Ass as well as dozens of 2010 films, go check out This Week in Movies this week. What I wanted to review, I've been trying a lot of different winter and Christmas beers over the last few weeks, and I actually have a bottle of 3 different ones sitting around. So I figured I would do a little review. Not going to drink them all now during the show. I've had each of these over the last week or two, and I'm just going to give you my thoughts. I ended up, like, I had one of them sitting around. I had this Blue Moon. I guess this will be the first one I talk about. I had this is their Winter Abbey Ale. I had some of these just sitting around that I picked up at the supermarket, and then I forgot about them. They were in the back of the fridge. So then I went to Bevmo and I ended up getting more winter beers, so I just kind of overdid it on the winter beers. So we'll start with this one, the Blue Moon Winter Abbey Ale. Blue Moon, it's brewed by Coors. It gets a lot of crap from craft beer nerds and aficionados because, you know, it's Coors and it's kind of watery and it's not great. It's like sort of imitation craft beer where it's sort of, you can tell that it's mass produced. And anyway, I like regular Blue Moon. I'll admit it's one of those beers that is just like, is very drinkable, and if it's sitting around, I'll have one. Probably would never think to, like, go out of my way to obtain some, but I like it, and this is very much the same. This is, you know, because it's a winter, it's an Abbey Ale, it's a little maltier than a regular Blue Moon. It's still definitely on the watery side, and it's a little bland. I mean, it's not terribly distinctive. Like, you won't drink this and immediately go like, oh my god, this is delicious, I'm gonna go buy some more. But at the same time, very drinkable, goes down easy, and you know, when it's done, if there's one more sitting right there on the table next to you, you'd pop it open and have it almost assuredly, because that's what it's there for. Easy to drink, but don't rush out for it. The next one I'm going to talk about is Sierra Nevada's Celebration Ale. It's a fresh hop ale. I love the bottle on this one. It's great, and beer guys love it, and I can tell it's very distinctive, and it's really interesting, and it's very full of flavor. There's a lot going on. It's very complex. At the same time, it's almost like torture. I mean, I like an IPA. I like that kind of bitter, sharp, hoppy flavor, but this is like taking a handful of pine needles and hops and just cramming it into your mouth. I mean, it's sharp and dry to the point where it's almost like painful. I mean, it is really intense, more intense than I find really pleasurable. Like, it's good if you were at like a craft beer fest or something and somebody gave this to you and you tried it, you'd be like, oh my god, that's really interesting. But when it's like, do you want to sit on the couch and like drink a beer? Like, you don't want this. There's just too much going on and it's too like harsh. I need like a Blue Moon to recover after I'm finished drinking this beer. And I love regular Sierra Nevada. And honestly, I don't even mean it as a knock. It's a really good beer. It's very interesting and tasty, but it's also just like hard to drink. The last one is kind of the perfect meld of styles. I think it's my favorite out of all three. It is Anchor Steam's Christmas Ale. They do a different Christmas and New Year's ale every year, and they change the recipe a little bit, and they have a different label every year. It's always a Christmas tree, but it's a different one every year. Here is this year's in front of the camera. This beer is delicious. I mean, I think I've tried a few of these other ones in years past. I don't remember ever liking it this much. Maybe this year's is just like spectacular in a certain way, but it's really good. It's dark and rich and malty like you want in a winter beer, but not heavy at all, and it doesn't have that like thick, that creaminess that a lot of these like really heavy malty beers sort of tend to have, where it's like drink a meal, as the old Guinness ad used to say. It's light, it's drinkable. I was expecting it to be, a little heavier, and it's totally not. It's a perfect beer for just sitting down in the cold day when it's raining outside and enjoying a beer. And it took a few times. There was a flavor I was getting, and it took me like 3 of them before I got that. It's almost like ginger snaps. It's got like a ginger molasses undertone that is really interesting and delicious and not quite sweet, but almost sweet. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, love that one. All three have their points. The Sierra Nevada one is just like, it's like drinking a tasty beer and then getting just punched in the face, and then taking another sip and then just like another punch. It's like it's that crazy. So that is today's LonsTV. Oh my God, only 8 minutes, much shorter than usual. I gotta get better at that. So thanks everybody for watching. Definitely do go check out This Week in Movies this week. I'm pretty proud of this week's episode, and it really is. I mean, we talk about dozens, maybe more than that, like more than dozens. I didn't even know that was possible. At least 30 or 40 2010 films make their way into the show. So definitely check that out, and I will see you tomorrow on LonsTV.